Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Easy Natural English with Liam. I hope that you're all doing well today, wherever you are listening from in the world. Today I'd like to talk to you all as usual with no script and no editing, so you can get used to English in a natural way. It's a bit easier than movies, but it's more natural than most learning resources. So let's get started. Today I want to talk about diets. So this is a topic that maybe some students get confused about. I know here in Japan, when many people hear the word diet, they think it's only about losing weight. But today, I want to explain that there are other uses for this word diet. So, in English, when we say diet, this word by itself, it just means your eating habits or your eating lifestyle. So, someone can have an unhealthy diet. If someone could say, my diet is just donuts and beer. So maybe you're thinking, but a diet should be for losing weight. But no, a diet just means your eating habits. So yeah, your diet could be beer and donuts. That wouldn't be very healthy. I hope that you're not doing that. It's okay to have fun sometimes, but if you're only eating beer and donuts, you're probably not going to feel very good. So, for example, my diet is generally healthy. Of course, I have some nice things like beer and donuts and wine and chocolate and sweets and things like that occasionally, but I try to eat whole grains. So whole grains means like the complete cereal, the whole grain. So when I eat rice, I try to eat brown rice. Of course, I enjoy white rice too. Maybe most days I have white rice, but I also try to have brown rice as often as possible. Every morning I eat a kind of German style rye bread. Rye is another type of grain, and I like to eat the very dark rye bread from Germany, so very healthy. Maybe some people don't like the taste, but I really enjoy this. And then I try to eat lots of vegetables and, healthy protein, like some eggs or some chicken or fish or even, beans or lentils or something. Something healthy. I try to eat a kind of balanced, healthy diet without too much sugar, without too much fat. Yeah, that's a bit about my diet. So it's not for losing weight. It's just my eating habits. Really, I don't think about my calories too much because I do a lot of exercise. I exercise most days. I exercise a bit every day. I try not to, just sit down all day. I try to do something active every day. And most days I do quite intense exercise, intense workouts. So I can eat a lot of calories without getting fat. So exercise is great. The more you exercise, the more you eat. Sometimes I call calories taste points, but that's a bit of a strange joke. If something's very tasty, it has many calories, so it's a bit of a joke, taste points. And when I exercise, I say, wow, I earned some taste points. Now I can eat lots of calories and have fun. So diets. Yeah, lots of different types of diets. I know I have listeners of this podcast and this YouTube channel in many different countries. So you might follow some kind of religious diet or some kind of ethical diet. So for example, people in India, you might have people following a Hindu diet. And I think, most Hindus, if they're very strict Hindu, they follow this diet, which in India they call pure vegetarian. And I think if I'm getting it right, they have milk, but they don't have any eggs, meat, or fish. So nothing from animals except for milk and things made from milk. So no eggs. So that's different from most Western ideas of a vegetarian diet. So usually in a Western style vegetarian diet, they'll eat milk and eggs, but then they won't have meat or fish. So with the Western vegetarian diet, that's more of an ethical diet. You see, it's not for a religious reason. It's because these people, maybe they don't want to hurt animals, or they don't want to damage the environment, or maybe they don't like the system that exists for farming animals. So maybe it's some kind of ethical reason. There's also some people that do it for a health reason, but most vegetarians and most vegans, they do it for an ethical reason. So if you're wondering what's the difference between a vegan diet and a vegetarian diet, vegans don't have any animal product. So they don't have any eggs or any milk. So only food that comes from a plant. So they'll eat vegetables, fruit, beans, lentils, nuts, grains, like I said earlier, rice and wheat and things like that. But they won't eat anything that comes from an animal. And usually a lot of vegans, because they don't want to hurt animals, they usually tend to have no animal products. So they won't wear leather because that's made from cows, or they won't wear fur because that comes from different animals. Also, even maybe their makeup, they check that their makeup is not tested on animals. So they try to avoid hurting animals any way that they can. So that's a vegan diet. Vegetarian is a bit more relaxed version of the vegan diet. But I mentioned religious diets, and I talked a bit about Hindu diet. There's also Muslims usually follow a halal diet. So halal diet, I don't know too much detail, and I might get some things wrong, but I believe, they have a different kind of code that they have to follow. So, maybe it's quite a famous point. Maybe everyone knows they don't eat pork or bacon, anything that comes from a pig. So that's one of their rules. And then also their meat has to be killed in a certain way. It has to be, I don't know exactly, that is a different style of slaughtering the animals, of killing the animals than some other cultures. And it has to be done the right way to fit their religious ideals. I think that's pretty much, quite important rules with the meat. Maybe there are some other rules, I'm not really sure. So if you're Muslim and you want to correct me, please comment on the YouTube video and you can tell me exactly what the rules are, I'm not sure. And then there's also kosher diet. So that's the Jewish people follow a kosher diet, which also is no pig products, so no pork or bacon or anything like that. And I know with the kosher diet, which is the Jewish diet, so from the Judaic religion, they have rules about timing. So they can't remember exactly, but they can't combine dairy with meat or something like that. So dairy means products that come from milk. I remember a Jewish friend of mine, once we had some cake and I asked him, would you like some cake? And, most people, if you say, would you like some cake? Most people just say, yes, I'll have some cake. But my Jewish friend, I said, would you like some cake? And he said, what time is it? So I was very confused. I just asked, would you like some cake? Why do you need to know what time it is? And he said, well, I can't remember if it was meat or seafood. Maybe it's seafood, like fish and shellfish, things like that. Can't remember if it was meat or seafood. But for some reason, he said it had to be 3 hours, I think it was 3 hours later, before he could have dairy again. Dairy being the products from cows like milk and butter. So he was thinking this cake will have milk and butter, which I can eat, but it can't be close to the time that I ate something else. Like I said, maybe it was meat, maybe it was seafood. I don't remember exactly, but he had to have those spaced apart in his like very strict kosher diet. So yeah, lots of people have lots of different diets. If you want to talk about losing weight, then you have to say I'm on a diet. So that if you say I'm on a diet, that means you're following some rules to lose weight or to be healthier somehow. So some people follow a low carb diet. So low carbohydrate, that means like sugars or starches like we get from bread or pasta or rice. So some people follow like a low carbohydrate diet. Some people follow a low calorie diet or a low fat diet or something. So those kind of diets, people would say I'm on a diet. But if it's just your lifestyle, then we'd just say like my diet, or maybe I follow a kosher diet, or I follow a halal diet, or I follow a vegetarian diet. So usually we use the word follow. I follow this diet, and that means like all the time. That's my kind of lifestyle. So yeah, very important to remember when you're cooking for people. I think sometimes people forget this. They just start cooking and maybe they don't ask their guests. But personally, I always try to be aware, and I just ask my guests, do you have any kind of dietary restrictions? Restrictions means things you can't eat. So it's good to check sometimes. You can ask someone, do you have any dietary restrictions? And then maybe they'll tell you, I can't eat meat, or I can't eat pork, or I can't eat nuts or something, maybe because of an allergy. So yeah, important to check. Anyway, I'll wrap it up here. Thank you all very much for listening today, and I'll see you all back here next time.